Welcome to this week's GT2 event at the Nürburgring. Today we're using the BMW M8, which is just there, and we're going to see how we progress. I have chosen to go with the medium tyre strategy rather than hard tyres. I think the hard tyres may fall off a little bit too early at the end of the race of lap 2, so I'm not too sure. As we start, the car to the right has a baby and gives birth to a pink Porsche RSR. Not too sure why they're coming over to the left, considering they have the whole right hand side of the track, but I'm not giving up. And they go straight off into a few cars. Porsche goes flying up in the air on the right hand side, and you can see first corner shenanigans are already taking place. It's unusual happening up there, usually happens down here. As the Viper goes through, goes straight back into the back of the Corvette up in front. Whilst I'm getting distracted by that, I go into the back of the BMW on my left hand side, and both of them will go meet their fate in the wall. Getting distracted by the BMW popping out in front of me as they did. I didn't think they'll be ghosted for as long as they were. It's not the first time it's caught me off, so I ended up going through a little bit sloppy out the other side. But we're alive. We're on position 8, Ferrari behind us right now. I do think the BMW M8 is a little bit quicker than the Ferrari. The Ferrari I've tried out earlier had a massive nerf, or it just doesn't seem competitive to everything else. That Viper up in front though is very quick and very competitive car. I'm going to have to give that one a try later on. Coming around here, absolutely flat out down this section now. I'm going to come over to the right hand side, and I'm going to let off a little bit down with the brakes as another car goes off track. I think that is a Ferrari as well. We're braking down into this corner now, down in second gear and turning in. Going round down the other side, and slowly catching up to the Viper in front, which is also being held up by a Ferrari in front of that. As we're going down this hill, you're going to be absolutely flat out down here. Come over to the left hand side and braking just a little bit down the fifth gear, over that curve we go, and then braking half of this corner. I usually go quite cautiously through this part of the section. I usually end up going farming and take a load of grass with me, but going over cautious, might be going a little bit slow, but it's better than getting a penalty or going off track. Now we're catching up to Tesco Ranger up in front. We're in position 7 and position 8 is 0.9 seconds behind. Taking this corner nice and slow. Last thing you want to do is hit that grass on the right hand side, just like that Viper has done up in front. It's so easy to go off there. It's better to also take that bit cautiously. Braking down the second gear here, turning in and accelerating out the other side. As we're catching up the Tesco Ranger up in front, I'd like to take a moment out to thank our channel members, which is Andy Good, Jeffrey Anderson, DMC Motorsport, Sigmatic, Camille Coleno and Daniel Adams. Thank you very much for supporting the channel, and if you're enjoying what you're seeing here, hit that subscribe button down below. Coming around this corner now in second gear, going quite slow and out the other side. We are doing quite well, 1.5 seconds away now, whilst position 7 is 1.2 seconds away. Braking up the road on the right hand side, down the third gear or second depending on your ratio, and accelerating out the other side. Sometimes it's better to come out the corner with lower revs to reduce the amount of wheel spin. As we catch up to Tesco Ranger up in front, the Corvette goes off track to our left hand side, and I was thinking maybe they might not be able to rejoin as safely as they did, but they managed to make it work. King Player 21 has made massive gains behind us as I struggle to catch them up. They got a 4-second penalty. They do make me nervous, but we have to bear in mind that not all penalties are fault penalties. You look at the situation, you think, 4 seconds is usually going to be a contact penalty, but sometimes that contact is not that person's fault, as the Ferrari randomly brakes at mid-corner there and throws me right off track. Thankfully I rejoined, and the Dodge Viper behind was fair game, as it didn't take me out with my poor rejoining skills. Looking to make a move in that Ferrari up in front then, but the door was suddenly closed. Now I've got to try and find a way through, and I just can't seem to find it. Viper is also looking for a way through behind me, so I'm going to go over to the left hand side, let them take that position, and if I can get it right and the Viper can get through, hopefully the Viper can pull me through as well. I'd rather someone else fight for it. I've got to say, this is where my lack of confidence comes in on overtaking other vehicles, especially at a track like this where it's very narrow. I might be a little bit too overcautious on getting through and not making contact, and that's what I have in my head. I don't want to have any form of contact when making it through, and some people are more than happy to send it. Like this situation, for example, they moved over to the left, so I moved over onto the grass. just to avoid the contact, where I could have really stayed in my position. If they came over into me, it wouldn't have been fully my fault, although I was making an undertaker move in a narrow stretch of the track. It is wide enough for two cars to go through just about, especially how slow we was going really. You can see the Ferrari is absolutely sending it up in front and trying to get away. So we're going to stick up behind them. I know this car is going to be quicker on the long run at the end. So my idea is just to wait it out and then get past them in a moment. They are 0.6 seconds away, so I am within the tow, and I've got to make sure I stay within that. And also keep position 8 behind me away from that. So they're 1 second away now. I'm going to come around this corner, get right up behind the Ferrari up in front, give them to our left hand side here and diving it at the end and accelerating through and carrying as much speed to start this run off as we can. You can see now they're 0.3 seconds away. I'm really clawing them in now, whilst position 8 is just getting further and further away. Coming over to our left hand side, I do move back over to the right, give them a little bit slipstream as well. And I keep on the right hand side here. They do make a move up the inside as we come in under the bridge now. I do surrender the position to them as well. And I'm going into the pits now anyway. And I'm not too sure what tyres they have on their car. I can only presume they're on hard tyres for how sloppy the last section of the track was to them. Unless they absolutely destroyed their medium tyres. Either way, it's only one position. I can make it back. They're staying out, so they were definitely on the hard tyres. We're going to go through the pits, choose a set of medium tyres again, and hopefully not too many cars pass us. As we come out of the pits, a couple of cars have passed us. We're in position 10 right now. I'm not too worried because I pretty much guess at the end of the lap their tyres are going to be absolutely goosed. So I'll be able to get past them anyway. And they're going to be at least about 40% worn now. As we do catch up to the cars in front, we're 0.8 seconds away, coming through the section now. Dab of the brakes here, over the curb we go, and hard on the brakes again now. You see the BMWs are fighting with each other, and the more they fight, the more I can make a move. BMW goes on to the left hand side. I'm going to tuck myself up the inside and just keep that throttle pinned as much as I can. Lucky enough the radar is there. They're keeping to the left-ish, getting a little bit close. They ultimately back out, thankfully. I don't know who, would I have backed out? I don't think so. I think one of us would have ended up in the wall, and more than likely would have been me. But I think that is one of a few occasions where I've chosen not to back out. It's actually paid off in my favour. Catching up behind ND Xbox 44, we are trying to get past them as well. The biggest problem with this section of the track is we're all using the most amount of road we can get away with. So it's really hard to make a move. Buying our time a little bit as we're coming through this section now. If we can make it up to the hill climb and stay right behind them as we climb up the mountain, then that'll be a great place to be able to make a move. It's just a case of making sure our corner exits are perfect as we come around the section now. Hard on the brakes here. I'm going down to second gear and accelerating up the hill we go. We got a sort of good run here. We're going to try and keep behind them. They do have a 4-second penalty. Bearing in mind though, not all blameworthy contact is blamed on that person. Braking down to third gear, going down to second so I can get a quicker run up this corner now. And away we go. Right up behind them, 0.3 seconds. Hopefully they don't sit in the middle of the road and take up the whole road as I try and make a move. Keeping to our left hand side, getting a good run up behind them. We're going to see if we can make that move nice and clean. Going left at last second and pinning myself to the left hand side. Now we're going to have these corners coming up quicker than expected. I was hoping we can make that move work. Going onto the grass and holding on for dear life. Braking late and only just making that corner. But if you did enjoy that overtake and you think it was really good, hit that like button down below. And then maybe we'll be able to pull off more overtake maneuvers just like that one. Brake into this corner, locking up a little bit, carrying a little bit too much speed through, and accelerating out to the side. We are already almost, there we are, 1 second away from the car behind, so that was an absolutely beautiful pass. Next contestant is Eat My Dust, which is 2.6 seconds away. It sounds a lot, but if they are on hard tyres, we're at the section of the track now where it's a fast cornering and tight cornering, and hopefully if their tyres are quite worn, I can make that move work whilst going a pixel off the grass and getting a 0.2 second penalty. That's a bit ruthless, considering I probably lost more time. Yeah, I did. There was 2.6 seconds away. I'm at 3.1. Yep, whatever. We're not going down that road. We all know the penalty system is funky at times, is the best way of putting it. Coming through these corners as quick as I can, gaining the time back I've lost within, what, 5 or 6 seconds. 2.5 seconds away now, 1.3 seconds away, and we're going through the last section of the track, which is really quick, and it's all about carrying as much speed as you can and holding on for dear life. We're just really sending it, to be honest with you. Coming down through here, looking out for the road on the right hand side, and I start applying the brakes gently, down the third gear, rubbing that curb on the right, and then going down the second gear through this section here. We're 0.9 seconds away. Hopefully we'll be able to claw that in before we make our big long run down the straight. Coming up the inside here to eat my dust. They start closing the door a little bit. I'm getting a bit nervous. Contact has been made. I should have gave a little bit more room, but I cut the corner just that pixel or two too much. No harm, no foul. We haven't really lost too much, and we are overtaking that Ferrari to our left hand side. Absolutely sending it down the straight up towards the pits. Thankfully, Eat My Dust is now 1.2 seconds away. We're going to go into the pits again for another set of tyres. As we come out the other side, Tesco Ranger has chosen not to pit, so I presume their strategy is going to be medium, hard, hard, medium. So hopefully by the end of this lap their tyres will be quite worn and we can really gain upon them. You do see a train of cars on the map up in front, so can't really go like that, except for Gold Bob Bish in position 1 is 30 seconds away, so that is quite a lead. Considering we've had a lot of hold-ups and some bodily contact here and there, we're not doing too bad overall, especially just running with a 0.2 second penalty as well. As we catch up to Tesco Ranger up in front, they do make a move on Dabloju. I can't pronounce that. Let's just make it easier next time. Position 7. They do make a move upon that player. So hopefully them two fighting as much as they have done will be able to make a move on both of them. That's the hopeful side of things. You see they go on a little bit of a poor exit, and so did I. Rubbing that curve, you've got to be ever so careful of, and you can see it massively upset this car. And they're getting a slightly better run than I am. 0.8 seconds away, so I'm going to really struggle to claw that back in while also making a move upon them. It's not going to happen on the straight. So hopefully one of them two might take each other out, say hopefully. As they are racing quite competitively, the Ferrari does go onto the grass and catch a bit of dirt, goes on it twice. I'm going to sniff up the inside, get that move done. That was nice and clean. Now just one more to go through. As we are catching up to them now, looking for the curb on the left hand side, braking down the second gear and turning in. Tesco Ranger is holding on for dear life. I'm going to accelerate out the corner and keep right up behind them. Now this part of the track is going to be very difficult to overtake. It really is an opportunist moment. Hopefully they might go off the track, and it's going to be, that would be the easiest way to overtake the car, or a mistake is made and I can just send it up the inside. But if they are racing at a quite a good pace, then it is very difficult to make an overtake move along the section now, as I go sliding through that corner and out the other side. I must say I'm quite proud of holding on to that slide and not actually losing too much time. Again, like I say, my biggest drawback myself as the driver is making the move on the cars in front and just sending it and not worrying too much about if there is contact, because the track is wide enough for two cars, don't get me wrong, but it's the confidence from the other player as well. Last thing I want to do is send it through and another driver turns in on a corner or something like that, not realizing I'm there, contact is made, and I am usually the one at the receiving end of meeting the grass, meeting the walls and things like that. It's pinched me far too many times, so I do try and look for moves, stick my nose in places where I shouldn't have, and it does unbalance the other driver, but sometimes it's just not enough and I should carry that move through. As I'm going to come around the outside here now, looking to make a move and ultimately bottle it because I was thinking that car might slide over more and I would end up meeting the wall. Let me know down in the comments below, would you have attempted that overtake right there, or would have you backed out like I have? Sometimes it is really hard to judge what the best move is, and you all know I like to play a bit more passively and just wait my time out is the best way of putting it. Tesco Ranger in front tyres must be absolutely goose, but they're holding on really well. Going over to the right hand side and into the bin they go. Well, they got back on track quite quickly actually. You see the dip as they went in. I expected them to be stuck down there for far longer than what they were. Never mind, coming down the straight now, gonna change our tyres again and come out the other side and see where we are. Position 8. So we have lost a place or two. ND Xbox 44 has chosen not to pit. They're doing a one-stop strategy, which is hard tyres all the way through. They're 3.1 seconds ahead. Hopefully I'll be able to bring that back in, while Eat My Dust is 4.4 seconds away right now. Hopefully as well, on top of that, ND Xbox 44 doesn't hold me up so much that Eat My Dust can catch up the time that I'm going to lose by being stuck behind them. Catching up to ND Xbox 44, we are on the nice long hill climb. Eat My Dust has also found 2 seconds upon me. I think he's gone a little bit slow through the middle section of the track, so they'll manage to make a bit of time up. Coming up behind, Eat My Dust now 0.6 seconds away. Thankfully they're going to be pulling me along, but not to the extent that I'm going to have the opportunity to make a move upon them, but getting away from Eat My Dust behind. You do see they went a little bit squirrely through there. I think their tyres are showing their age already. I know this car can be a bit slidey when the tyres are quite warm. I'm going to stick my nose up the inside here. I just can't get the power down. I'm slipping and the car is wheel spinning, so that's a shame. I was being great if I could make a move there. I just couldn't apply the power without the car spinning into the wrong direction. Right, this section of the track again is going to be awkward to overtake. Oh look, we're beating our best lap time by 1.4 seconds. Oh well, every cloud and that. Yeah, anyway, as I was saying, this section of the track is going to be quite difficult to make a move, as we are using as much of the track as we can. I was trying to stick my nose up the inside there, and again I bottled it because I don't want the contact or have my nose pushed off into the barrier. That's the last thing we need right now. But we're going to keep pressuring the car up in front. You can see they are really pushing that car and holding on really well. There was really hard braking there, and I'm not too sure why, but contact had been made, and I've got a 0.5 seconds for avoidable contact. The problem with being stuck behind ND Xbox 44 is Eat My Dust has managed to find that time. Oh, what a pain in the backside that is. Okay, the pressure really is on, because if I can get past this car, then this car will be holding up Eat My Dust behind. There we go. Look up the inside here, really applying that power. We're gonna push ourselves right through. Very close contact has been made, and my back end sent them off into the wall. Let me know down in the comments below, do you think that contact and them going off into the wall is my mistake, or do you think it's a racing incident, or do you think it was their mistake and they had the rough end of the deal? From what I saw, I couldn't move any further over to the left hand side, but they were very close and kept pinned in the middle of the road, keeping very close to me, and maybe my back end stepped out, or maybe their nose stepped in too much and it ultimately bit them right in the backside. Either way, let me know down below. Coming out of this corner now, a little bit slippy, 1.1 second away from Eat My Dust. Tesco Ranger 4.6 seconds away. I'm not going to be able to catch that person up. Absolute shame. Would love to be able to overtake Tesco. It's the best way of putting it. 1.4 seconds away from Eat My Dust behind. Thankfully the BMW is really good in a straight line, so unless something does go wrong, like I get a blowout or anything like that, which is not simulated in this game, I should be alright. I'll tell you what would be nice if Tesco Ranger had an incident, you know, just throw a banana at him. Was that Mario? Oh, well, you know, the thought that counts, I guess. You know, it'd be quite nice. Catching up to them though, aren't we? 3.7 seconds away now. Position 1 is 56 seconds away. That person has been working hard. and braking down the second gear, turning in. I'm going to take it a little bit cautiously, make sure I stay alive at the end of that. Eat my dust is 3 seconds away now. Coming around this corner, 2.7 seconds away from Tesco Ranger, and we crossed the line in position 7. But before we do run away, we're going to have a look at the new crash cam and see all the incidents that took place at this track. First one is this Corvette that I had the car land on top of it. There I am to the left hand side. No idea why it's going left, but then it sends it through, takes the Ford GTE off, and then comes down the hill like nothing happened. Yeah, I don't know why they moved left, and then they seem to be a bit all over the place. Next one is behind the Ferrari. Everybody's rejoining. If you look ahead, the two Porsches up ahead are battling each other quite aggressively, and then they both go meet the nice wall on the right hand side and go gardening. So it did need a trim. I did see a few extra lengths of grass sticking up, so thank you for that. It was much appreciated. It saves me £20 paying the gardener. This next one is a golden nugget. You see the two BMWs up in front. The one on the right hand side is going to be held up by the Ferrari, moves to the left and takes himself out. BMW to the right comes back over in front of the GT40 because there clearly wasn't enough room to the right hand side, and the Ford GT40 takes that person out as well. So karma was just around the corner. We're on board with this Ferrari as they take this corner nice and tight and keep turning left on a straight line, touch the grass and straight into the gravel pit. Same corner, different cars. Porsche gets tangled up with the two cars up in front, brakes, locks up, and they go straight into the gravel pit along with the Ferrari that was just there. Now back to the Ford GT40 is not having the best of days. They go quite wide through this corner. Porsche comes up the inside, gives them a touch and sends them off to the outside of the track, trying to regain control, and ultimately buries it straight into the wall. Yeah, and then the ground swallows them whole and struggle to get back on track. It gets even worse because as they go back on track, they accelerate and go back into the wall again. So now we're on board with this. BMW has an accident all by themselves. GT40 that we just saw is on the right hand side. They're going to come down this hill, up the left hand side, forget to cut this corner and go into the grass on the right hand side, and then onto the grass on the left, and ultimately quit the race. Thank you all for watching. Goodbye.